Chris and I are with the lifting. If you've gone into the booth, when you first enter the other side, not the basically reader side, but you see us sitting there, probably one of the first people sitting there, and we are with the lifting. We actually started the lifting in January 2017 based upon a lot of information that we know about the seen and the unseen world, and the importance of people understanding that better, because there are skills that every single person can learn to help better their lives. And we're not given an instruction manual, nobody knows anything, but we really felt driven that we wanted to do that. So we do come to these events, we do like to speak because we desperately want people to have and feel like they're a little bit more empowered when they leave here. For me personally, it's a personal thing, because although I'm, again, not born with an instruction manual, I had these spidey senses all my life. And it was an interesting dynamic, because a lot of times, even though I was having them, I had family and different people around saying, no, you didn't, no, that didn't occur, no, whatever, push down, push down, push down. And so for me, there became a part of my life where it was blooming its way up and there would be no stopping it. And I found myself attending some of these types of fairs, especially the ones that had the free lectures, because I didn't know what to do. I just knew something was happening and something more was going on than I knew. And it started my journey, active journey into some of this, and helped me be a little bit more confident about myself, my life, and things that are going on. So this is near and dear to my heart, because I've been where some people were just coming and seeking and sitting, knowing something was going on. So it means a lot to me. So thank you for being here, and I truly hope you leave here feeling a little bit more empowered. Chris, on the other hand, Chris and I have been significant others now for 10 years. Chris is born from a family of psychics. And so Chris was born in with these skills intact, with vision and with different things. He was lucky enough to have a mom who was the same way. So he wasn't necessarily pushed down, right? Ignore. He was more of the person that his mom wanted to self-empower him. If you don't like something, tell it to go away, right? So it was a little bit of a different thing that began to happen to Chris. And Chris actually is a medium, an active psychic. He actually, what he's known for a lot is dealing with what I call negative unwanted attention, where, you know, he has the ability to see a lot of things that are going on, to actually scan back. I don't know if you all believe in the concept of reincarnation. For us, it's very real. Sometimes things that can bleed in from other time frames are affecting your life now, or other mischievous type things that are unseen, that are very real. I think everybody knows that cats and dogs can see more than we can see, right? So that, you know, we acknowledge that all that is real. We acknowledge that there is benevolence, true benevolence, but we also acknowledge that there's the opposite of that, a malevolence, you know, a mischievous malevolence that kind of wants to also tamper and keep people down. So when we started the radio show of the lifting in 2017, we talk about all of it, not in any sort of fear-related way, because a lot of people have been taught if I talk about it, I conjure something. That actually isn't true.
Yeah, it's more the intention you put into it. People think, oh, say its name and it shall appear kind of thing. Yes, if that's your intention. But if your intention is, well, I can freely talk about it and it will not, then of course it's going to go that route as well. So there's a misnomer. Now there are very few things that do follow that rule. Like certain specific names that I don't even mention, because I know for a fact that we'll start to draw the thing in. That's very few. That's the amount of it is this much.
Tiny.
A tiny amount. And they think it's everything. Some people think it's everything. But there's also a lot of misnomers and a lot of the I don't want to say some of the belief systems out there, but there's like certain misnomers as to like the types of protection, what certain symbols do, what certain beliefs like say in the New Age, where you had to like separate part of your emotions from yourself, kind of deal. There's a lot of psyops involved in this, and the main thing though is before you do outwardly protection, you have to do inwardly, and changing yourself from within. Then the protection pieces that are on the outside, and the spells or the protection mantras, any of those things, will actually more efficiently do their job.
So that's our goal today, so that we give you a really broad perspective of this, so you can take a look at it, as well as, like I said, some skills. So we're going to kind of cover all of that. So basically, that's what we're known for. We're known for the seriousness of understanding and helping people develop skills. We're known for the seriousness of protection, and again, we were asked many years ago, what works, what stones work, what things work. One of the skills that Chris and his family have are being able to see the energies in the interaction. So we started on that journey of, can we make something that can just pump out good energy? Can we make something that an energy pumps out the negativity may not want to enter that frequency? Can we pump out energies that can shred negative type? Do you see what I mean? So we went on that journey ourselves. And so a lot of things, again, what's very interesting about our table always happens is that people that can sense and feel energies come to the table. They don't know what's going on there, but they know something is going on there. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you guys, but like, my chair has been vibrating for several
too.
days.
Mine
So
too.
I want to know, am I imagining it?
I know.
I don't
I
Is
know
it,
what
is, there,
you're
is it physically, like, I feel, am I
No,
already
it's-
creating the...
So we're trying to raise the energy. So the one thing we like to do,
I'd like to say that's me, but it's not.
So, I mean, it's like a lot, right?
I was
Like, I'm not
we-
imagining it, right?
we desperately try to raise the energy. So we're going to do right now what we do. If you do decide to go on and watch some of our stuff, when Chris and I are doing the shows for the lifting, you're going to see us start, because our goal is to try to raise the energies. We want it transmitting through the video so it gets to the person on the other side. And again, we want benevolence. So if you're okay, I don't know, this could be something very innocent going on, that you're feeling the air conditioner vibrate, through the floor. I have no idea.
It's intense.
Yeah.
But
It's the energy in the
So
room,
we're
though.
trying to
It's
raise the
lovely.
energy. So one of the things we're going to do now, and again, it's always a good example if you're in with a group of people, we would recommend, we call it the opening, and we always do a closing of the conversation. Again, listen to the words that I say. There are no tricks in the words that are using. I think everybody understands benevolence, what that means, what's good for me, right? It's good, it's endearing, it's positive. Malevolence, kind of the opposite, it's not good, it can harm me, things like that. So the one thing I always say, because in this world we live in right now, people are confused about what anything means because everything's so incongruent, right, with words and actions. So we're going to do something that's very congruent, and we're going to, again, some of you may actually feel this, I hope, some if not, but we do this every time. So I'm going to start this now. We are all one, and when one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, that only the highest good be done. We pray for you, your friends, your family, your loved ones, to let healing energies in. Let them love you, let them nourish you, and let them bring you to your highest good. We ask for benevolence now to come in with no conflicting agenda, to be with us here now, to be with the participants here now, so that they can feel you and feel your grace, so that we may have this conversation in great understanding. And we ask for malevolent and mischievous type beings to be swept away, so that we may have this conversation in peace. And with that, and with the greatest of blessings that we always send your way, we say, so be it. If you agree with that, I would just simply say, so be it. And the goal is, again, with that, you've now agreed with the very strong intention that this is the condition of the conversation we're going to have. That we want grace, we want benevolence. If you have benevolent family members or people who watch after you, you want them to come in and be present. You want the support, you want the love. I hope you can feel maybe that a little bit of an upliftment has happened around you. If not, don't worry about it. I can guarantee you it has been done.
There's
So-
also another one that I open all our shows with as well. I always say, I open the circle within true benevolence and no conflicting agendas as of this moment in time. What I mean by this is people think this was kind of dumb that I actually elongated this out. And the reason I word this way is because you may have some benevolent beings that come in, like guides, ETs, what have you, dimensionals, but they could be benevolent. But what are their intentions even within benevolence? And what is their interpretation of what benevolence actually means? So you say no conflicting agendas, meaning with what you are currently doing. So that basically tends to weed the garden very quickly, and you get around you beings that are more conducive to what you currently need.
So this
that
is the
time.
very first conversation that we try to help people be aware of. Everything is out there. There is a misnomer to think if I can't see it or if I think it's elevated beyond me that it is only benevolent. And we're here to say that that is not true. It's not a true statement at all. So what you have to do and what you were born into this world with is intention. We are co-creative beings. We come in as a soul, we connect within the body that we're having this experience through, and we learn to have an experience of a soul experience through the environment that we're in. One thing that is true about us is our co-creation. And what has happened over time is that we have learned to co-create very poorly for ourselves. Not a lot of this is our fault, because there are plenty of people who you don't know their names that know exactly what I'm talking about and have spent their life getting you to co-create for their behalf instead of what is for your
Using
soul
you as a
journey.
projector and or puppet. And I always tell people, do not give your will away and or any of those intentions away to any other being. You don't want to be in savior mode, because that is one of the worst possible things you could do. Any being, I don't care who it is or what they're saying, if they come in the room basically saying, I got this, don't trust them. Because any good being, any benevolent being with no conflicting agendas will say, let me show you a few things that could actually help you find this yourself. Anybody else that wants that kind of intentions or wants worship, I do not want to get to know them at all. And there are
Right, 'cause
beings out there
you
that
end
will
up
take
giving your energy, they
Yeah.
take it, and I hate to say it, they're not all benevolent at all, and so they use it. Your benevolence that is around you wants you to be empowered to bring it out from yourself. It really is a lot of inner type of work, but again, we want you to get that concept today, and then we're not leaving you without certain skills. So one of them, again, one of the first things is when you feel you need assistance. Let's say you're in a scary moment and you feel that you need assistance. This is where, if you can remember, I want benevolence with no conflicting agenda around me. Does that make sense? This is what I want around me. I don't want a mischievous being who's going to poke and prod me and make it worse and laugh in the background, right? I want benevolence with no conflicting agenda around me. I need assistance.
Or they want to poke and prod you for something they believe is benevolent. That's another one.
But
Yeah.
again, the bottom line is not to overwhelm you with a lot of stuff, but just basically to say that you, with your intention, have to say, this is what I want around me. And you don't do it with a question mark. You do it with, this is the way it will be because I said it is going to be. This is it. This is all I want. This is going to happen, because believe it or not, we are all great souls. We're not just feeling like we're nothing right at this moment in time, right? We're all great souls. We have great powers, but you've been, in a sense, disconnected from knowing that. I always say people right now are covered in mud, and the goal is to clean them off and to get them back in working order so that they can now go through their life, feel like they're more in control of their life, instead of always being reactionary to the problems of life, that they're moving forward in a way that they can co-create something that is better for them. It does require self-work, but it's not hard work. It's just something that you have to make a choice to say, I am going to be this way. I am not going to question it all the time. It will be this way because I said so. And those kinds of things, for especially for women, like I said with myself, from a little girl, we are all beaten down. You may have had the spidey sense that you're at a park and you didn't want to go play with Mary Jane. You just didn't want to. So what were you told? Go over there. And then when you tell mom that you say, Mom, I didn't want to go play with Mary Jane, mom is like, well, that is just wrong. Not only is that wrong, you're going to march yourself over there and you're going to apologize to Mary Jane for not wanting to pay, right? Am I right in saying that? So we're inborn with some of these spidey senses to know these things. It's a part of who we are. And basically since birth, it's been stomped out of people. So this now has to come back out. And so again, part of what we're doing. So again, first thing about protection, you have to understand that your own personal intention has a lot to do with it. A second, whatever it is. For me, it could be the love that I have when I eat a piece of chocolate cake, that I really do love chocolate cake. Do you see what I mean? It doesn't matter. But if you can take a second and you can do that, and you can put yourself in that place, it could be the pet that you just scooped up in your arms, whatever it is, okay? Whatever that feeling is. What I want you to know is, where is the sensation in your body? The common sensation that people begin to have is right here, right here. When you really love someone, it's right here. But it's not just right here. You're being pulled towards whatever that is. Does that make sense? Did any of you guys feel that, thinking about it? You could feel the sensation right here. So I'm hoping, not that you're in love with us, but I'm hoping some of you maybe be like, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm listening to this. I'm feeling a little pulled towards it, because it could be information as well. Am I ready to hear this? Not. A lot of times people are listening to things on the news and they're feeling the opposite of that, which we'll go over. But what you need to know is that when something is right and good for you, that you will, if you take a moment, I use the word love because that usually evokes it strongly. But when you really start to notice yourself, you're going to subtly feel this on anything that is good and right for you. That you were born with that. You were completely born with that innate skill. The opposite of that is think about something you really hate, really, that disgusts you, that whatever, that just really, really, really brings it to you. And where people are most likely, whatever that is, most people are feeling it here, right here. And not only that, it's pushing you inward, bending you over, making you sick to your stomach. Again, so I can tell you that when I was asked to go play with Mary Jane and I had to walk over there to apologize, guess where I was feeling it as a little kid? Right? Sick to my stomach that I had to go do this, because my discernment is saying this is not good for you. Okay? So I hope everyone can feel what I've just said is like, wait a minute, that is right. I don't have to go to anybody else for that. That's something I can do on my own. I get it. Okay? So what you have to do, again, you have to dust that off. And you have to pay attention to it. Now, I'm going to be honest. We have all been trained not to pay attention to it. So when you start looking at your lives, be it your work, be it the people you're hanging out with, being the things you're doing or whatever, you may now be a little bit at odds, right, with some things that have now come into your life that you're a part of that maybe are not for your highest good. Or you're making decisions, or you're going along with a group think, let's say, when your heart is telling you otherwise. This is where a lot of people at this current present moment in time are completely at odds with themselves, because they're maybe involved in a lot of things. The question is always, what am I now going to do about that? And what happens is that part of the challenge for people is to be in tune with themselves and not constantly be at odds. Well, what would that mean? You know, does it mean that I have to get disinvolved in certain things? Do I have to make changes in my life or whatever? I'm not here as a guru to tell you that this is going to be simple, because it's not. Because I call life right now, everybody's a big ball of yarn that's knotted up and everything's a mess. Most people aren't running smoothly right now, and you're not alone. I am telling you, you are so not alone. I wish I could say it wasn't by design, but it is by design. Again, not being given instruction manual, not being given and encouraged to follow it, to always be told you had to ignore it, has put many people in this complete and utter chaos kind of situation in their lives. Slowly, the goal is that you will become more in sync with yourself when you begin to honor that. And it could be as simple, again, in my lifetime, especially when I was younger, women are working their way out of it. They were over obligated. They were obligated to do this. They were obligated. I was a good person in society if I did that, if I did this, if I have to go there. And all the times they were trying to keep a smile on their face, but just didn't want to be doing it. So that, again, by design, so you kind of ignore yourself and don't move on to what works for you. So you have to understand that, first of all, yes, you do have the skill to know. Absolutely, you've all pretty much done it. The question then becomes, how do I now disentangle myself, maybe for some things that are not for my highest good? Because I think most people sitting in a building like this and coming to these things want to grow and expand themselves, know what's really going on, want to have a life that's more fulfilling and meaningful. The only way to do it is that you dust off those discernment skills and then you start honoring yourself. You will not be able to be there for other people very well in a genuine and authentic way until you do the self-work and the self-healing that you need to do. So that is a big skill. I cannot stress enough to everyone that this is where everyone is at, okay? No one person, right, is the magic person that isn't struggling with this right now. And I think especially in the last 5 years, that clash has become more and more evident to everyone individually. Something isn't right. This is where you need to start and understand you are on a spiritual journey of your own for yourself. And everyone is a tangled ball of mess. So start slow, start respecting yourself, because if I could tell you the greater powers, what they really want of you is for you to do that. Do that. Again, you bring it, then bring it through yourself. When you really start to feel you're living, and one of the things is living in the current present moment. I can tell you when you're living in the current present moment, if you're actually able to sit there and listen to me and you're engaged wanting to hear this and nothing else is going on in your mind, you're living in the current present moment. That's really important as well. Do you have the skill to do that? When you're speaking in an authentic way and being yourself, you feel the words not come through your mouth. Of course they do. You feel the energy come through here and go outward. Okay? And so the goal for everybody is, again, as I'm saying, dust off the discernment to be your sovereign self, but to be your genuine, authentic self. Everyone has a contribution to make while they are here. People are misguided thinking it's always doing for others and ignoring myself. That's not the way it really works. The way it really works is that you contribute through your frequency and through what you're doing when you're your genuine, authentic self. Then what you'll find is that when you're in tune better, you may have a friend who's going through a problem, and for some reason you said the right thing at the right time to them. Does that make sense? So you've got to dust off your own kind of skills in that way so that you can be who you are supposed to be, doing what you are supposed to be doing. Does everyone kind of get that? And I hope you felt it. I hope you could feel the difference. This basics of what I'm saying right now is huge to guiding your light. No one should be trying to tell you that you should not be your genuine, authentic self, ever. If they are telling you that, and that you are nothing, and that you're just to do what you're told or whatever, they're not good for you. It's just that simple. They're just not. And so again, so many people are now facing these problems. So you're not alone. But it's about slowly taking the mud off so you can find yourself underneath. So that's one of the first skills for that I want you to know about discernment.
This falls under the next part I'm going to go into. Now, this is actually an area people don't always consider. There's a lot of beings out there that are telepathically based and dimensionally based, even at great distances. Distance really doesn't matter in this case. But dreams, this is an area that you've probably seen 1,000 of these different beings in the dream state. And then somebody else is telling you it's all symbolic, or it means this, or it means that. No, sometimes it means there's a guy standing right in front of you and he's tricking you. Sometimes it's very literal. Sometimes dreams are a mix between literal and symbolic. What some of the key notes I've seen for discernment in this is this: any situations where you're being handed an object, do not take it from any being. A lucid dream in this: do not take anything. Do not eat food in a dream. Even though your subconscious will want you to try to do some things or do these things. You're used to a certain pattern. There's beings that will play off of this to try to get you to do this. They're trying to hook you into some kind of contract so they can harass you in this world. And they could build a bridge to this world or an anchor. You do not want that, because if they build an anchor, you're going to have a bad time. So, and varieties of different beings from there's good beings that like say in the lizard, dogman, insectoid, any of these different crowds that you can think of. There's good ones, and then there's really ugly ones too. And I have seen this time again, grays, all of this. But what happens is, and this happened to me as of this morning, I think this is a good one that has good bullet points in it. I'll tell you the dream sequence, and I'll just point out where these things occurred. What happened was, I was in a different house with Joanna here. I ended up opening the refrigerator and eating a hot dog that was sitting in one of those little paper dishes in the refrigerator. From that point forward was the point of manipulation. Past just right up that was the bait. My subconscious, for whatever reason, connected to this, even though I've given the command to do it. It's not easy to get yourself out of that pre-programmed loop that everybody's in. We went, she goes, well, okay, we're going to go to Golden Corral. You shouldn't have done this, etc., etc. Went there and sat in the booth. Then I quickly realized I didn't have any pants on. Weird thing, everybody's done this. Another point of manipulation. Trying to basically is what they're telling you what they're doing. They're depantsing you, they're basically trying to embarrass you. Didn't work. Energetically I just covered everything up. Then there was when she was talking to two other people that mysteriously were with us in the vehicle going there, there was a version of her that was looking through the wall, or what I thought was her. She started talking to this being, and this being looked at me, started to change into this demonic entity. I grabbed a hold of it and cut its head off. That's what I do in sessions. I'll reach out and etherically cut the demon's head off, and it usually gets rid of him, transmutes him. What the whole point of that is, the entire scenario was the being. Every inch of that dream was the being, from getting into the vehicle, from going down the road to the Golden Corral to eating the food. All the being. Every single moment was the being creating its own imposing its mental scape into your own dreamscape. So it will create these scenarios where it'll run you in circles. Do not get in vehicles, or a door that somebody has opened. Do not walk into a building that someone has opened in the dream sequence. Don't take food. do not take any objects handed to you. Always put your hands up like this and say no. In this instance, she even had a being throw something at her that it was trying to hand to her. We thought that was pretty funny. She went like this and just threw it at her.
So what people don't realize, again, right now when people are dreaming, a lot of times you don't remember what you dreamt, which again could be to their, let's say, negative beings.
This is how you combat it. She's going to say.
And so, but in general, when Chris and I many years ago were first exploring this concept, I'm assuming benevolence around us thought, okay, let you see this more clearly. So we started to have a lot of dreams. They were amazing. And what was really amazing about it is how many times I couldn't stop taking anything, right? So I didn't have control. And again, controlling your dreamscape is one of the things that obviously we're not good about right now. We are told that as we expand and progress later on, that people will be able to control more of that matter. And so we went through a series, I can't tell you how many, and finally I got to the point, and I'm really pretty good at it now, that this is me in the dream. Just watching it, not really interacting with it anymore, just kind of watching it. So again, some of your dreams, they are about reconciling days events. That's true. What we're saying is that more happens there than people realize. So we're trying to bring in that other part of the conversation. You don't have to remember your dreams. What you want to do is hedge the bet that something could have gotten in there. That's all I'm saying. Consider that. Because what won't go there? Benevolence. Benevolence knows you're in a compromised state. They are not going to come to your dreams. They're not going to necessarily come in there to try to teach you necessarily.
Spirit might give you messages as through there. They're not going to be playing.
Do you
these
see what
games.
I'm saying? This game stuff doesn't happen from benevolence, and that's what I want you to go ahead and say, that makes sense to me. Why would a good person, when I'm vulnerable, come in, right?
Manipulator does
and do
this,
all that? It's a bad guy. It's a manipulator that will. What I'm about to say will not harm anything if you're trying to reconcile and all the normal good things that happen in dream. What I'm talking about and what we're talking about is when malevolence will come through and try to do something to you.
And the dreamscape is supposed to be where you get the memories back, you reconcile
Yeah,
things of
and
your
you
own
do.
past, dark nights of the soul, things of this nature.
And all of that happens. We're just saying there's more. So how do you get rid of the more? Okay, and again, how do I even know more happened if I can't even remember my dreams? What we're saying is, great, you wake up in the morning, you sit up on the side of your bed, and you simply say, and you mean it, I revoke any agreements I made in dream time.
With any malicious being and or beings. When you do this, then it evens the playing field a little bit.
Then contracts are null and void. But what will happen, so what we're trying to say is that a lot of people get up and everything, and it's just everything's going wrong in their day, right? Can't get to work, on time, can't get things going straight. That's more of a potential time when there is a malevolence there.
That's an entanglement
They're
going on.
eating, I hate to say it, they're eating your frustration energies and things like that. They do thrive off of stuff like that. So how do you do it? You simply get up in the morning and you revoke any agreements you made in dream time. Revoke any agreements. Mean it. And that kind of nullifies that. You don't have to know that you do it, but benevolence remains unharmed. Anything that you were doing, and reconciling, none of that changes. You just now know there could be a little bit more going on, and how do I, on my own, get rid of it? So that's another important step where we talk about, again, protection. How do you protect yourself? One of the other things that happens all the time to people is that they're exhausted throughout the day because their personal energies are always being eaten from them, okay? It could be, again, I'd love to say it was all demonic, but it's not. It could be the person you're sitting beside at work that's doing it too, on an unconscious
They're human
level.
vampires too.
On a conscious or unconscious way it's being done. So one of the things that you need to know is that, yes, this stuff does happen. So how do I not let that happen anymore? You basically need to get up in the morning and you need to kind of suit up. So one of the misnomers out there has to do with you. I hope everybody in this room understands they really are more of an energetic being, have an experience The Kirkland photography shows you your energetic field. I don't know anybody who's had that done this time, that shows you what your energy field, or even maybe what color it is. So yes, accept the fact that you are an energetic being. Where there's a misnomer, some people are like, I'm spreading my energy out to the world, and we're like, no, why would you do that? Because you now
Gotta
are
keep
given
that
an
aura tight
you're given
to
that
you.
opportunity for things like a lint brush to come and collect on your energies.
You don't
as
want to
well.
be a big fishing net where they
No.
throw it out there and drag everything.
So-
You have every parasite from here to
Right.
the next state. You know.
So you actually don't want to do that. But you yourselves, like right now, if I told you guys, would you please imagine your energy field? Imagine it. Can you feel it? Can you sit there and say, okay, I'm going to sit here for a second. I know I'm more than just beyond. I know there's energies off my fingers, off my arms, off my head. Where is it? Where does it stop? Where do you stop? Where do I stop? Do we intermingle somewhere in between? Where do you stop? So the goal is that you feel and get an idea. Now again, you may not feel a thing. I'm telling you to imagine it. So imagine, because imagination and all of that is right along the same where. Where is it? Is mine to this chair, or is mine up close to me? Where is it? Do you see what I mean? So what we're trying to say is you do need to bring your energies right now. You do need to bring your energies closer in. Okay? Bring them pretty close to your body.
And have it all grounded to you. Grounding is very important in this as well, where you walk barefoot on the ground outside. A lot of people know that part. There are other methods to get to that. We found in Japan when we went there, the whole tatami mat. Someone grounded their home outside and earthed it and made sure that there was a sacred space that you could walk into barefoot and then reground. There was also some people that showed me that bearing skin under the sunlight actually does it the fastest. Nobody has that convenience, but in lieu of that, do it to your home on the interior.
So again, so if you can walk outside barefoot, but what do you do in the winter? What do you do sitting in this building? What do you do at work? There are other things that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, the earth and the earth frequencies and the earth that we live on, the earth is a living being, and the frequencies of the earth are here to support you. Period. End of statement. They really are. And the goal is so that when we say grounded, we say grounded to the earth. Let the earth and the earth energies also help you in what you're doing in your protection. So again, another simple visualization. So if you do not have that luxury, and some people don't, take some time throughout the day, take a few minutes, take a few deep breaths, then basically sit there. And some people, after a while, they feel this happening to them, but it doesn't matter if you feel it now. Just go into your imagination right now. So I want you to imagine energy that is going in through your head, going down through your body, going all the way into the ground and going deep into the ground. Then let that energy come back up to you. Let it go out your arms. Okay? So again, you don't have to feel it. You first start with imagining in that. Then what you're doing is you're making a connection to the earth itself. The earth is meant, we were born on this earth. This earth is here, believe it or not, a celestial being to support us and to support our journey. So let that earth be a part of you. It's great if you can walk outside. It's great if you can do that, but some people really can't. And some people are having a really hard day at work, and they need a few minutes to themselves to go to the bathroom or whatever. But what they're really doing is trying to take a few deep breaths because they're having a hard time struggling at work. Take a moment to reground yourself and do all of that, okay? And start doing that for yourself. You will see that it will calm you and it will give you energy. So do that. Then the other thing is then once I've done that, how do I protect my energies? So I'm just going to give you a simple visualization. It can be whatever you want, guys. You're in charge of your life. You can make it be whatever you want it to be, just with the right intention. So again, the intention of all of this is simple. Only benevolence for its highest good enters my energy and nothing else. It's as simple as that. So does that mean that you won't have a fender bender going to work? No, but maybe you were meant to have a fender bender to learn something, but at least it wasn't a head-on collision. Does that make sense?
Or it could have
So-
been delaying you because
So
something else led.
what I'm saying is that people have another misnomer. It means their life's supposed to run perfect. No, life isn't meant to run perfect. You're going to have interactions and things you have to deal with all throughout life. But do you want it to be what it's supposed to be or an exaggerated version of it, right? There's a lot of not so nice beings that would love for you to constantly have a wash, rinse, and repeat cycle of exaggerated versions of things because they get their jollies off of it, and it's just that simple. So what a simple way, simple way to do these things again. So you've gotten up, you've revoked your dreams, right? Any agreements that you've made, you get up, ground yourself to the earth, let the earth energize and refresh you. Protect your energies. The simplest visualization to do is with the mirrors. So if you think of yourself surrounded in mirrors, again, close to your body, covering your head, covering your feet, and then turn them outwards, okay? And basically, again, with your intention, nothing, okay, will enter my energy field unless it is benevolence for my highest good. Those are simple, those words are true, those words are real, we all know what they mean. And so what will happen again is that there are a lot of women that are also empathic, okay? I don't know if any of you feel you're empathic, but this is huge for an empath because it is also a myth that an empath is supposed to be taking on other people's stuff. Totally wrong. You are not supposed to be carrying the knapsack of another person. They are supposed to be dealing with their own stuff. And there are some people out there that will be happy to dump it on you, right? So what will happen to a person who's empathic is so much gets dumped on them and they don't know how to stop it that they don't even know who they are anymore. Because am I feeling the thoughts in my head, are they mine or are they somebody else's? What's going on? So you, even as an empath, have to stop that practice because it is not a true statement. The goal of somebody who's empathic is that I can feel your situation. I'm not taking it on. But if we should get into conversation, I may have just words of wisdom, right phrases, right things come to me to provide you with information that you may find healing and helpful as you deal with your own stuff. Do you see the difference? But empaths, there's this one meme I wanted to burn it. I was so angry when I saw it. It showed again this meme where, you know, you go up to a friend, you give them a hug. Now you got dirt on you. Then you go to another friend and you give them a hug. Now you got more dirt on you. You're covered in mud by the time you get home. And what do? You go home and give your pet a hug and all the dirt's on the pet. I wanted to
Because they will take it
burn
from you
that
every time,
because,
so.
and that's a true statement. So I wanted to burn that because I'm like, no, that's not even what an empath is supposed to do. Most empaths aren't even doing the work that they really maybe could be doing here because they're so full of mud from other people. So the goal is that you find yourself. So part of this, what we're talking about in protection and whatever, is so again, you can re-find yourself so that you can give of yourself, okay, out there into the community, but you do not solve other people's problems. They're here to learn to solve their own. But you really may find that you are of great benefit. Now, what will seem different is you will feel detached, but you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to be all in their energy field doing their work.
And then now helping yourself, you're more qualified to help them. But also there's a misnomer out there. They have, usually it was in the New Age and metaphysical community where they would say service to self, service to others. Of course, what they're defining as those that would want to help others, showing compassion, and the other side being selfish and narcissistic. That's usually the definitions of it. But you can flip this around a little bit and say, yes, I'm being selfish in the other connotation where I'm taking time to serve myself. Then you can go help other people.
Just
so
like
there
the
is a
airplane and
blending.
the oxygen. Put it on first,
And
then you can help.
any being or any person that says they are purely that one or their service to others, I would look at them very carefully because it's usually the opposite. Yeah. Also, any beings that are saying, "Oh, you can't do this. You must always give, give, and give." That's a trickster trying to get you to again drain your energy. So if you have guides, if any of you have guides doing this, basically fire them because And you can do this at any moment in time too. You basically say, no, this does not serve me at the moment. I can basically just communicate with my higher self at this point, and I don't need you. You've taught me that I don't need this, therefore I'm moving forward. So any being basically saying this to you, they're full of crap, basically. So when you hear somebody say, you have to be always of service to others, what connotation are they meaning? Are you always going to drain and give and give and give and give and not give back? Because that's what people have been trained to do. That is a program that has been put in people's heads. I'm not saying always stay and always be extremely self-serving in the original connotation, narcissistic, egocentric. No. I'm saying basically you need to take care of yourself first, then you're more qualified to do whatever it is you want to do for others. Yeah.
And some of the most beautiful people that love their job and love what they're doing and provide more joy to people than you ever know are the ones that go unacknowledged. I'll give you the best example I know how to. The people who get up at 2 a.m. in the morning to make the biscuits at Hardee's, and the ones serving coffee, and they're always in joy. How many people do you know of that look forward to driving into work and they're getting their biscuits and coffee? The love that they put into what they're doing is then given to another. You don't even know their names. So people also have a misnomer. They miss the importance of just being who you are. And again, coming to have an experience here, as Chris was saying, is a service to self. So yes, we're both. We are service to self, and then for some, it's also what can I also do for others.
I have nobody that is not both.
So you have both going on, but understand, again, right now in the crazy times that we're in, people do have to dust themselves off, and they have to, again, discern, right? We always say a few things. The truth is the truth until a new truth comes along. Because you're going to find that you have believed things and now you're questioning them. Again, you almost have to get out of that dynamic, right, of this is right and this is wrong. No, some things are. I think we can all agree. No one wants to see children harmed. No one wants to see abuse, right? We're not like that.
That's in the evil category.
That's in the evil category, and we can all agree on that. The foundations of people and children being raised well and having education and being loved. We can all go there. We can all agree with that. So this is not what we're talking about. So, but I think again, you can get like, wow, that was my basic understanding, and now I have to rethink of that. And the other thing that we say that is applicable to now times, as you are relooking at yourselves in your life, is deny the known and manifest differently. Because everyone has learned how to manifest poorly. Now the time is to learn how to manifest for yourself. Does that mean that everyone is meant to be a millionaire? No. I'm sorry to say, most oversouls, when they put a piece of themselves down here to come and have an experience, money is not going through their thoughts. What they're thinking about is, what am I going to learn? What am I going to heal? They don't need money over there, guys. It's money here we need, but not elsewhere. But the goal is, can you have a fulfilling, good, and happy life and feel good? And that's the key. Can I feel good? Because most people right now are feeling pretty crappy, right? And so how do I start to do that? It is self-work and self-responsibility. Chris has had many people come to him and they say, clean me off, get me clean. And he can do it. He can clean you. He can put you through the car wash and make sure that every ounce of everything is gone. If you don't start practicing these things, guess what? Your limp broke. Guess what's coming back? Because if you don't know how to protect your energies, if you don't know how to do things, it's all coming back. So, and what's happened, and again, we'll just say the guides or whatever, this is that time for humans. This is that moment in time to start learning these skills. We can say that because Chris has had some people constantly coming back constantly, and then the guides are like, I'm cutting them off. He has certain watched guides, and he'll take something off and they'll put it right back on him. The guide will. Nope. It's their time to learn. So Chris actually mainly works with people who are in the mindset that I'm going to learn and grow, and many have been very successful.
Now
very successful because of these basic skills.
There's overage too. There's a category called overage that's beyond whatever it is they're learning. And I know people are trained to think the earth is school. It's not all that way. There's a lot of overage, there's a lot of garbage that's going on that's outside of this. And when this ends up taking place, sometimes the thing that is happening to a person is basically not just path, but it's also this overage. You have to discern which one's which at that point if you're doing this kind of work. You have to discern which one, why does this person keep getting this same thing thrown at them? Maybe I haven't traced it back to the original source, or maybe this is something that they're supposed to be learning, their higher self keeps replaying over and over and over again. You have to discern which one is which in this area. Or the higher self is just insane and won't stop doing it. I have run into this too, where the avatar is being you is actually trying to conduct an audit down here and trying to say, hey, higher self, you've been repeating this over and over again. Maybe it's time we don't do this, kind of thing. Sometimes that's the mission. You also have to discern which one's which there. Now, in a situation where you don't know any of these details, and you see somebody getting hit over and over again, 9 times out of 10, it will be the prior where it is actually their path. 9 times out of 10, it's that. But then you have the overage bit where, I'll look and see who the assailant is that keeps doing this. Then once you've solved that and the thing stops, or if it's an outside source that takes a long period of time to solve, I have had clients and friends that certain things, even to this day, I only just managed to solve the thing after maybe 5 or 6 years of constantly working at it. It was because not only the person learned something from it, but it ended up being an outside source that finally, some good source finally put a muzzle on them somewhere, dimensionally. And I'm like, okay, it finally stopped. The torture finally stopped there, because not only was it meant to, it was also considered overage after it went past a certain time. I found it was actually both things.
So what's important to know is that there are good psychics and people that are around that can help. There really are. Some know better what they're doing basically than others, but what my point and what our point of this conversation is for you to understand that the basics of a lot of this start with you and with your understanding of just some fundamentals that we tried to cover today. Now, again, that you can try. What I always tell people is this: if you would please try the things that we're saying, I want you to prove to yourself that you can do this. You want to know how you can prove it to yourself? You go to the parking lot of Walmart, you make sure you're armored up. How many people go to Walmart and come out exhausted? Right? So wouldn't it be wonderful if you could go in there with all those different people and you come out feeling better and you're not exhausted? So I say go use Walmart because it's one of the best places where you have so many different energies going on. And you go in there and you do your shopping and you walk out and you're not as exhausted anymore. So what you want to do is you want to try these things, okay, that we've been saying for yourself. And then you want to be able to prove to yourself, wow, there may be something there that we're talking about, because you're not given an instruction manual. And unfortunately, people have been taught to manifest and do things poorly. So that's part of what we do. That literally is why we call ourselves the lifting. And so a lot of us, believe it or not, are very old souls. And we got involved in things a very long time ago that kind of led to a tumbleweed and going down the toilet, let's say. So everybody that's worried about the fact that we've gone down the toilet or heading down the toilet, right? Society, life in general, what we always say is we've already done the toilet. We've already gone down. This is a time where people are actually looking around and say, wait a minute, I don't want this anymore. How many people are looking at life, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this for myself. I don't want this for my children, for the next generations. The goal now is exactly for us to start to experience something that we haven't experienced because we went down the toilet first. What we try to help people think that are worried and think, Armageddon and this, that happened. But it happened in the past in a history that is unspoken about, that most of us have been a part of. So you're actually afraid of something that already happened. The goal now is to start learning these skills, and society will not go down the toilet. Society now is trying to understand the dynamics of all of the stuff around them and choosing and making choices to say, I don't want this anymore for myself, for others. And so The goal is we learn now, how do we come back as a society? How do we bring unity with, like I said, the basic foundational belief systems? How do we respect one another? How do we allow and learn how to talk to one another again if we don't even agree on everything? How do we do these things? And then how do we experience a society that is full of dignity and respect? Do you see what I mean? That's where we're at right now. That's what all this craziness that really is pummeled hard on people for, the last 7-8 years is really pummeled hard. More of it for everyone to be able to say, no, I don't want this. Nor do I want it for my kids. Wait a minute. No, I don't want this. And so how do you start the process of making the change? You make it within yourself. You start to interact differently, your frequencies rise, other people around you's frequencies rise, a little bit of a bubble starts to form, everybody's little bubbles start to touch, unification of that begins. That's how it happens. And so everything really is all about the energetics, but you have to start with yourself first. So I think maybe, I don't know if it's time.
I think we're encroaching on someone's time.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead. It's
what-
me, so go ahead.
Oh, okay.
You got
So,
3 minutes.
okay, I didn't like, we're really respectful of people's time. So I didn't know, did anyone have any question? We just always like to, yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. I'm sorry I was getting late.
It's okay.
I got caught between 2 conferences. So basically, what part of what you do, you're like a academic counselor. You're looking at our curriculum and letting us know what the courses are required, what are optional, what are the ones we can bypass. Am I getting that correct?
In a
Yes.
sense, I
And
would
which,
agree
and if
with
there's a
that.
padded list or not in their
Yeah.
assignments, basically, if you want to put it that way, yeah.
So the first thing we like to help people understand, because it can be so overwhelming, what are the first few things you can do that you will see a result? Okay? And again, some of the first things we were talking about, again, about understanding discernment and how you feel it within yourself. You must then decide, am I going to listen to myself or not? But I hope you will. Then you're going to start to realize within that discernment, I have gotten myself involved in things that I know are not for my highest good. What am I going to do, okay, about that? Even if I feel I can't make a change, am I still going to try to be more of my genuine, authentic self and let that frequency through? Am I going to show self-respect? Am I going to do that? You have to make those decisions. What tends to happen even in that area, let's say you're like in situations that you don't know what to do about, but you've decided I am going to honor myself and be my genuine, authentic self and work on that, your frequency is going to change. Those dynamics then there may be this, okay, and changes start to happen anyway because you're changing, you're putting yourself and you're trying to move yourself into a vibration where things that are around you and people and situations that are more attuned with where you're vibrating at. It happens naturally anyway.
So what I'm hearing, correct me if I didn't hear correctly, is that the decisions that you have made sometimes is not necessarily under the influence of our higher self. Those are influenced by lower frequency of other people.
Yeah, I use the example real quick. I'll do it again real quick for the people that have walked in, for girls especially, because everyone knows what I'm about to say. Again, I used Mary Jane. I know a Mary Jane that I love. I just picked a name, okay? That you're a little girl, and Mary Jane's over there playing in the sandbox, and you've come to the playground to play, and you look over at all the things to do, and you see Mary Jane in the playbox, and you don't want to go play in the playbox. You don't want to go. You're just feeling something. I don't want to go. I'll go over here, whatever. And your mom's like, go play in the playbox with Mary Jane. And you're like, Mom, I really don't want to play with Mary Jane. Oh, come on, go play with Mary Jane, right? Go over there and play. And you may be like, and you go play a little bit and you're like, I don't want to, and you walk away or whatever. And then Mom is like, what is wrong with you? I don't care for Mary Jane. I just don't want to. Not only are you going to go back over to that sandbox and play with Mary Jane, you're going to go apologize to Mary Jane for feeling that way. Do you see what I'm saying? That is a child who has discernment all intact. We're all born with it. And in our lifetimes, it's been punched out of us. You've been told to ignore every single piece of discernment you've ever had. It's like there's somebody walking down the side of the street. I don't want to go over there. But you're told, oh, that's silly, right? You go over there and somebody gets mugged, right? You are born with the skill of discernment. Everyone has had it beaten out of them. So this is a time, again, some of the skills that I think you missed in the beginning were discernment and different things. How do you bring that back? It's a guiding force for you in your life. It helps you. So these are the things that everyone's like covered in mud, have to push it all off, have to start re-honoring, because you can't give your gifts to the world that you have. You're here for a reason. The vibration that you're supposed to be, until you clean yourself off and become more in tune with yourself, and then that starts to flow a little bit more naturally. So anybody that missed out, and we're still here until 5:30. If you want to come to our table, it's kind of easy. When you walk into the room or one of the first tables, you'll see if you want to continue on, but we want to be respectful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm piggybacking off of you. It's being your authentic self. So-
Oh, well, there you go. Perfect
It's
timing.
a- yeah, it's-
And this is, well, one thing I will say is this is now where I close this circle within true benevolence and no conflicting agendas. That's how I end every one of our shows. And that cuts the circle off, basically saying now you're regrounding, and now what you've opened before is now closed. That's very important. Open circle, closed circle. So anybody that does this kind of
Yeah.
work,
Especially if you feel you're channeling or something, you need to
do
close,
something like
close
that.
these circles.
Absolutely,
and
and
stuff.
reground, yes. So
So-
thank you, everybody.